Is travel photography a good career? Well, it sounds lovely, but what is the reality? Hi and welcome to episode 83 of the Photography Explained podcast. I'm your host Rick, and in each episode I will try to explain one photographic thing to you in plain English in less than 10 minutes-ish without the irrelevant details. What I tell you is based on my lifetime of photographic experience and not Google. That didn't really flow very well, did it? Anyway, let's continue. Before I go on, if you have a question you would like me to answer, just go to photographyexplainedpodcast.com/start. Here is the answery bit. It's take 3, and forgive my gravelly voice today. Something's not quite right, is it? Travel photography can be a career, but there is tons of competition out there. I've decided there is tons of competition out there. It's fine, having deleted it twice. To be successful in travel photography, you need to be an excellent photographer, but more importantly, excellent at marketing yourself and your excellent travel photos to the right people at the right time. The reality is that you can make some money from travel photography for sure, but I recommend that you have travel photography as part of a broader portfolio of products and services. Okay, that was my answer. I just want to begin this one by, who am I to talk about this stuff? Let me tell you. Well, I'm an architectural and construction photographer and also a travel photographer. I'm also the creator of multiple websites in the photography, travel and travel photography sectors. And I am a serial traveller too, so I know a bit about this. Okay, here we go. I wrote this is all my own words, I love it. Travel photographer, the dream. Wait for it. You turn up at the location, are welcomed by the client, and off you go to take a set of stunning photos. In a couple of hours you are done, then it is back to your swanky hotel room, paid for by the client, where you import the images to your shiny Mac, spend an hour editing and you are done. Images transferred to the client, you stick your invoice in and slide off for a beer by the pool before a late lunch and a relaxing afternoon by the pool, interrupted only by occasional social media behind the scenes shots being posted as and when you can be bothered. Have a day off the next day, well you've earned it, and then it is off to the next location. Rinse and repeat and life is sweet. The bank balance is great and you have unlimited, stunning, exotic resorts lined up demanding your skills. You are so in demand you only need to do a couple of shoots per month, charging royally for the privilege, and you are so well connected that you never pay the full price for anything. That is living the travel photographer dream. And for most people, this is a dream. Boom, the reality. Travel's hard work, travel's tiring. Crossing time zones, packing, unpacking, going from place to place. I mean, sure, it's all exciting if you do it once or twice a year when you go on holiday. But imagine, honestly, if you did this all the time. If this was how you made your living, how long do you think you'd last? Photography is hard work too. Photography takes time, dedication, practice and discipline to make money from. And you have to work to make yourself visible to people for them to find you, and then commission you to take the photos for them for money. Sorry, but this is the reality. Is travel photography a good career? Well, there's a couple of things to think about here. Short answer is yes, of course it can be. And let us not forget that you do not have to travel to some exotic place to take travel photos. Where you live is a travel location to someone somewhere else. How do you make money from travel photography? Well, this is the problem. The competition is incredibly strong. Sure, there's plenty of demand for great travel photography images, but I suggest there are more people taking travel photos than there are people prepared to pay for them. Online travel publications, travel companies, hotels, airlines, the travel industry in general, advertising agencies, stock agencies. These are the people in the market for travel photos. But guess what? There's loads out there for them to choose from. And that's put the prices down. So it's tougher than ever. So it's very much a buyer's market. Well, can you make money selling photos online? Well, sure you can, but you might not get anywhere near as much as you might have hoped. This is my plan with my websites, that people will buy the photos off them, but do you know what? They look at them and move on. Might be because they're rubbish, not for me to say, either way. But yeah, I've sold a couple of photos, not that many, and I didn't get that much for them. Selling photos online on your website is, in my opinion, not a sustainable business. Selling is the clever bit though. Anyone in theory can take great travel photos, but not everyone can make money from them. That is the real clever bit. You have to be able to take great photos, but so many people can do that. But very few people are outstanding at sales and marketing of travel photos. The most successful photographers in possibly any genre are not necessarily the best photographers. There is a fair chance that they are the best marketers. Sure, they're great photographers, but they're great marketers. So that's where the clever bit is. It's the marketing and the selling. Have I put you off? Well, I hope not. There is tremendous demand for travel photos, but it's so hard to make good money from them. Instagram is not real life for most of us. You know those Instagram feeds showing endless luxurious, fantastic travel photos and exotic locations, life's perfect and wonderful and it's sun and sea and sky and wonderfulness and fanciness. That's not reality for most of us. If it was for me, that would be great, but it isn't. And I would wager that for every one of those, there are 1,000, 10,000, who knows, feeds that have great travel photos that get very little attention, but are more real. Sorry, but this is the reality. Okay, prove me wrong. If I'm wrong with any of this, let me know. If you are living the dream I described earlier, get in touch and tell me how you did it. I'll get you on my podcast and you can share your story with my listeners. What do? I have a number of travel and photography websites which I'm working on to build up a solid platform. But this takes a lot of effort and a lot of time. But this is my chosen path. This is part of my portfolio which covers travel photography, and also architectural photography. Not altogether, I hasten to add. And of course this wonderful podcast which is just about photography stuff. How much money do my websites make? Not a lot. Not enough to give up my day job, unfortunately. But I am plugging away at this and other things, and it's growing slowly and steadily. The talky bit. Being a travel photographer sounds like the dream job. I mean, the dream job. All those photos of those exotic locations. And like I said before, I'm sure there are people living that very dream, but I bet there are not many of them. As I said before, if you are one of them, get in touch and share your secrets for success with me and my listeners. But the reality of any commercial photography is somewhat different from what you might expect. How much time does a commercial photographer spend actually taking photos? Well, I would guess 5, 10, 20%? 20% if you're very lucky and very busy. See, taking the photos is the culmination of everything up to that point, which will be a lot of time and effort. I'm not going to say blood, sweat and tears, I hate that term, but a lot of hard work is fair to say. And if you chuck in all that travel then that is hard work too, and more time. So being a travel photographer is probably not what you thought, hoped or expected, but it can, as I said, be part of a broader range of products, goods and services. Or you could just give it a go on holiday and see what you get. This is how I started off. And I still love doing this. I get up a couple of times in a week to capture a sunrise, do a bit of exploring, and generally enjoy myself. And yes, I do make a bit of money from travel photography, but that's all. And I'm fine with that. One-line summary. To make a career as a travel photographer, you have to be a good photographer, but an excellent marketer. The reality for most of us is that travel photography forms part of a broader range of things. What's next? Photography Explained Podcast episode 84, 3/5/10/15/20 not so obvious bonus travel photography tips from me to you. I have not written this post yet, so the number is unknown. Shout out time. This episode's shout out is to me. I've recorded 3 episodes on the bounce when I'm not too well, to be perfectly honest with you. And I fear my voice is going to give up, so shout out to me. Why not? I deserve one. I'm done. Thanks for listening to my small but perfectly formed podcast. To find out more about my podcast and to do stuff to help me, check out photographyexplainedpodcast.com/start. Brought to you by. This episode was brought to you by me, suffering. Sorry, I'm after sympathy, aren't I? I've been Rick McAvoy. Thanks again very much for listening to me and for giving me just over 10 minutes of your valuable time. And I will see you on the next episode. Cheers from me, Rick.